Good morning everyone. Today we are back with our class 7 social science class, and today in the history lessons we'll continue the rest of the part of the chapter 1, tracing changes to 1,000 years, and today's subunit is thinking about time and historical periods. Before starting the chapter, before starting the subunit, I just wanted to inform you that what is the meaning of period. The period is a division of history into large segments. It is a divisions of past into large segments called periods. Okay, and the British historians divided the history of India into three parts. First one, the Hindu era; number 2, the Muslim era; and number 3, the British era. The Hindu era consists the time of all the rulers from the ancient India up to the Gupta period. All these Harshanga dynasties, Seshunak dynasty, the Nanda, the Maurya, the Kushana, and up to the Guptas. So all these rulers ruled in before up to the Gupta period. This is they renamed it as Hindu period. Next one, Muslim period, when the foreign invaders like Muhammad Ghori and Sultan Mahmud invaded India, and they started to spread their dynasty, and they started to spread their empire in India. And from Kutubuddin Aibak, those Mamluk dynasty, Khiljis, Tughlaq, and Sayyid, Lodi, and Mughals, all these Muslim rulers. So this period mentioned by the British historian as Muslim era. And the number 3 is British era. So what is the main features of British era? That when after the Battle of Plassey up to the independence of India in 1947. So 1747 to 1947, this 190 years they considered as British period. But there is a problem that they made these divisions on the basis of religion. But religion is not the only thing that had changed that time. There are other things also changed through the course of history. Suppose they had ignored the significant development. Number 1, economy, society, and culture. They totally ignored the development of economy, society, and culture. It is mainly the history of the rulers, the political history, but as well as the society, the economy, and the culture also changed so much from the ancient ages up to the modern ages, and then through the medieval ages. But they totally ignored all these changes. Number 2, the rich diversity of the subcontinent. They totally ignored the diversity of the subcontinent, because Indian subcontinent is a huge place. It has started from Afghanistan and also up to some part of Myanmar, and from the north, from Kashmir, it is up to the Sri Lanka. So it's a huge area. So obviously the cultures of the Afghani tribes, those people living in Afghanistan, and the people of Bengal is totally different. Same as, and Northeast culture also different, and same as the culture of North India as different from the South Indian cultures. But these things totally ignored by them. Now this year previous year we have read in ancient history in your class 6 book that how hunter-gatherers emerged in the society. Previously they are the forest people, they hunting and gathering. After that they started agriculture, they know how to make the wheel, the use of fire, they started cooking food. Now they started agriculture and settled in a place, and in this way they had established villages. And after this villages, we have seen that Harappan civilization, the town based civilization, also established at that time. So all this, and also kingdoms established on the bank of river Ganga, and those kingdoms annexed their neighboring kingdoms and created a big empire. Now this year you will read about the spread of peasant societies. how those peasant societies spread all over the subcontinent, and some technological changes also occurred, and the rise of imperial and regional states, how imperial some small regions emerge into a large empire, and how they consolidate their power and conquering the neighboring states. We will also learn these things in this chapter. We will learn this in this book, okay, Our Past, Part 2. Now, the eviction of forest people, it is also important that how the pastoralists, those people are rearing animals and those are cultivating in those fields, they also evicted, because when their empire spread and new towns and villages established on the place of those forests area and the grazing lands, on the grazing lands, and obviously on the agricultural fields. So next one, the development of Hinduism and Islam as a main religion. So at that time, Hinduism also changed so much, but previously we have seen that there are practices of a lot of different natural sources, natural powers, but now they have started worshipping the various idols and deities. So this is the drastic change in the Hinduism, and as well as they also practice some distinct cultures that was not practiced before. And as well as the Islam also introduced in the subcontinent, and Islam became the main religion, and most of the people are accepted the Islam, and it became the main religion in the medieval India. So now the arrival of European trading companies. Now European trading companies also arrived in the time of medieval period. How many East Indian company, those British East India Company, French East India Company, Dutch and Portuguese, all the East India companies, they came to India from 16th century, from 15th to 16th century. We learn all these things in the book. Now the change in 1,000 years. You have known that 1,000 years called a millennium. So it is a huge time span. So in the huge time span, after all, the 16th and 18th centuries are quite different from 8th and 12th centuries. It is very obvious that in a vast course of time, the 16th century and 18th century, when the Mughal rulers, Mughal powers and the European companies arrived in India, that time also different from the 8th and 12th century, when some South Indian states emerged as an empire, and some North Indian, East Indian states also emerged. So this is a totally different, I think, that as well as the society, culture, the economy and religions also different between these periods, because the period is so much different than the modern period. Why? Because in medieval period we have seen that different practices and customs in the society, and people are not think everything with their logic and with their scientific viewpoint. So modernity means a sense of material progress and intellectual advancement. Material progress means the people now started solving their problems with technology and some materials. They are more believed on the materials rather than the religions or some supernatural beings. And also the intellectual advancement. They also started believing on the intellectual advancement. They now examine each and every incident on the universe with scientific viewpoint, and they try to find out the scientific reasons of this incident. This is the features of modernity. So in the modern period these things also happened. But in medieval period, during this 1,000 years, in some states, society and economy were transformed. During a huge course of time, a long span of time, all the features of the society and economy were transformed. It is very obvious. And some Indian states also emerged as a rich and prosper region in the Indian subcontinent, and that's why some rich states obviously attracted the European companies. And in this way, when they transformed through 1,000 years into modernity, their thinking was changed, and their wealth, their society, their economy, everything changed. So the European companies also attracted towards them, and they established their dominion on those states with their different policies. That's all from today's class. Okay, hope you have understood the subunit, and this is the last subunit of this chapter. So the chapter has completed. Now in the next class we'll go for the question answers, exercise question answers. So till then, stay tuned in your channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.